So I've been going to the gym for about the better part of 3 years now, and that's not like anything to toot my own horn to. If you looked at me in person, you would not really be able to guess that I've worked out as much as I have. But the thing that I want to talk about today is something that just is my own plight, and I think it will help people find some comfort in going to the gym or any prospective gym goers. And I'm basically the epitome of the fact that if you go to the gym, no one there is going to judge you. No one there is going to really think about you or like you really remember you past the one or two interactions you have with them a day. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I've had so many just absolutely catastrophic social interactions at the gym that I feel like, if people actually were judgmental, I'd be permanently banned from all gyms in 50 states and 17 countries. And so I just want to go through, some of the wonderful experiences I've had with the social interactions of people and just how badly they went for me. So one that comes to mind is about it had to be like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, and it was bad enough for me to remember it. And so a little bit of background. But when I first started lifting, whenever I did legs, I had an issue with not enough blood going to my head when I was doing legs, and so I would constantly teeter on the edge of of passing out if I ever did like a squatting motion or if I did like a hinge motion when I did RDLs. And so this interaction happened while I was doing RDLs. And I finished my set and someone walks up to me. And I kind of like vaguely recognize this person, but once again, I'm in the twilight zone of consciousness. I don't know if I'm conscious or not at this point. And she kind of says like, "Oh, hey Kyle, how are you doing?" And I'm going to let you know I at that moment did not have a single semblance of a clue on who this could have possibly been. She eventually just like said, "Oh, do you know who I am?" And I'm like, "No, nope." And it just happened to be someone who I went to middle school with, and she said, "Oh, I'm gonna make up a random name. Oh, I'm Megan." I'm like, "Oh, I know who you are," and I did know who she was, but at the same time, she's like, "Oh, how are you doing?" And I'm still at that zone of not being fully conscious, and I said, "Oh, good, I'm okay. How are you?" And she said, "Oh, I'm good." And that's kind of how the conversation ended because I cannot for the life of me kind of think about any way to continue it. And so I think I just permanently tarnished my reputation from whatever she thought of me from middle school, even though that was about 6 years ago at that point. So, that was an unfortunate interaction. Just no blood in my brain from doing legs. And it just compounded on the fact that I also just consistently will have terrible interactions with people. I'm just really bad at, at, at not tarnishing my reputation with everyone. And not even in like a racist way, just more of just like, wow, this guy doesn't know how to talk to people. And another interaction, or that I consistently have is when I walk to like the gym when I'm home from school. There's people at like the front of the gym to kind of make sure you're not like just scanning in a fucking banana to open the gate. And usually they like welcome you in and say hi to you. But for some reason, sometimes I'm just not ready for human interaction to happen there. And the prime example of this, the worst case scenario of this happened about 2 days ago is I walk up to like the turnstile. I think that's what it's called. And I just like kind of before I scan in, I kind of just like hear someone say, "Oh, welcome in." And I like look over, and the dude's looking at me smiling. I just kind of look at him for a little bit. He's like, "Oh, welcome in." I think he like repeated it. I think he just like thought, "Oh, this dumbass didn't think I was saying hi to him." And he said, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And I didn't even give him time to like explain what's up to me. I left. And so, those are kind of the type of interactions that you remember for the rest of your life. I'm gonna be 55 years old, out in the countryside on a rocking chair on my patio. I'm going to remember that, grab a shotgun, and fucking end my life because of how bad that interaction was. I'm obviously a bit of an oxymoron, and I don't want to get any markings on this video. It was a joke, but it sometimes feels that way. And a third recurring catastrophic interaction I have with people, and I don't know what is wrong with my brain for me to cause me to do this. Um, but what happens is if I'm like kind of just sitting in between sets and someone walks up to me, I'm listening to music, and so it's kind of loud, and I don't really hear people well. And so if they say something, you know, that I didn't hear, instead of saying, "Oh, what's up?" or like something really neutral, saying, "Hey, could you repeat that?" My immediate and constant reaction is just to go, "Huh," in like a really aggressive way. I just kind of go, "Huh," and that's in like a antagonizing way for some reason. I don't know why I do it. I don't know why that's my immediate reaction to just look at people. It will it kind of freaks some people out too. And they say, "Oh, I just want to know how many sets you have left." And I'll like, and then I'll say it, and I'll be like, "I'm going to," and then I'll think to myself, "What the fuck is wrong with me? What the fuck is wrong with me? Why am I like this? Why am I like this?" And that's like that just persists throughout the entirety of the rest of the time I'm using that machine until I let them on. Um, and the reason why I kind of wanted to say this is just, obviously it's near the new year. I know people make New Year's resolutions to go to the gym. And I know some people are not too confident about how they'll be perceived. And I think I'm just gonna say this to, say that no one cares. You can have just consistent and constant terrible interactions with any human being ever there, and the vast majority of the time, it's the only interaction you have with that person in your life. There's only really one ever scenario where I've had someone kind of just be a dick to me, and that's just in between sets. I'm on my phone because what else am I gonna do while I wait for like the 2 minutes to pass, 2 3 minutes, just whenever you feel good, or even a 1 minute if you're that type of person. And this old lady walks up to me. She's like, "Oh, how much do you have left?" I said one. She's like, "Oh, you should get off your phone then and do it." And I was just like, I didn't like kick back at her or whatever, but I just kind of looked at her. I'm like, "What the fuck do you want me to do?" Like, I'm like, if you were able to walk up to me and like say this to me, you would have seen that I just finished. But like this is like a once in a lifetime scenario. I've only had ever had that happen to me one time, and no fault to her. Obviously, maybe she was just on a time constraint, but like I was kind of taken aback by someone just going up to me and saying that. Maybe it was just like an age difference thing. She tried to pull. I almost said prestige, like it's a Call of Duty Black Ops like leveling system. Seniority is the right word I wanted to use. Maybe she was just trying to pull seniority and say, "Hey, don't keep the old lady waiting." Which fair enough. That's fair. It is my fault. But once again, don't don't speak to people like that at the gym if you're wanting to go. Because then, obviously, in retaliation, I intentionally took a long time doing the workout. I would pause in between my reps just because I'm a spiteful little bitch who, like, wants to be annoying to someone who annoyed me back. But that's really like the only bad interaction I've ever had at the gym in its entirety. And so, if you're concerned about people being like that, that's gonna happen to you maybe, and that's a maybe. So, for any prospective gym goers, listen to a random bum like me. Just go. No one really cares. Go once a day or once a week. Go twice a week. Doesn't matter. If you want to go, just go. There's no one judging you. That's really all I got. So, thank you for watching. Goodbye.